There we go. Okay. All right, everyone. We are about to get started with Alicia. Excuse me, Alicia Chester, and she is going to be going over with us Marketing 101. So we're just waiting for her to get on the line. Here she is. Here we go. Welcome. All right. It says that she's being added now. Hey, Alicia.
Hey, Jacqueline. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am wonderful.
Where's my, here it is. Okay. Just trying to get my iPad. Okay. Awesome. So glad that you were able to make it on this morning. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay. And so anyhow, so tell us a little bit about your background a little bit, and then let's go over some of the tips that you wanted to provide.
Well, again, good morning, Jacqueline, and good morning, Connecting Atlanta. Jacqueline, I'd like to thank you again for inviting Atlanta Business Coach to join your platform this morning. As she said, I'm Alicia Chester, and I am Senior Business Coach and Marketing Consultant for Atlanta Business Coach. We work with small businesses, whether they are brand spanking new or already in existence. Our goal is to eliminate small businesses from becoming one of the numbers of statistical numbers of 8 out of 10 small businesses that fail within the first 18 months to 2 years of opening. And the way we do that is we provide resources for them, such as workshops, webinars, as well as accountability coaching and consulting. So today
That's
we're
awesome.
going to be pulling from our workshops to discuss with them today.
Okay, great. Maybe one day Facebook will allow us to put up some PowerPoints and stuff like that in the live. So, sorry about that. Okay.
Yeah, because I have some great materials we could have shared with them, but of course they can comment on some of our workshops and see that.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. So one of the top things that you were talking about was how to like better understand your competitors.
Okay, right. So we got 3 topics we're going to discuss today, and that is one of them. Understanding your competitors is very important for all small business owners. A lot of times with marketing, what I'm finding with my clients is small businesses tend to skip their market research. They skip the whole process of market research, which is very critical to developing that strong foundation. And part of that market research is a competitor analysis, understanding their competitor as well as their ideal customer, which we're going to get into today. Of course, there's a lot of other areas that they need to do, but those are very critical. And as far as understanding your competitor, you have got to do a competitor analysis. You got to know and stay on top of what your competitor is doing. You have to stay 10 steps ahead of them. If you're not aware of what your competitor is doing, you are setting your business up for failure. And by doing that, what you're doing, an example is stay on their website, stay on your competitor's website, know what they're offering their clients, know their price range, know every product and service they offer. You should be 10 steps ahead of it. You should also stay on top of their process. What is their customer service process? What are they offering? What are they offering that you are not offering? You need to know your competitors' strengths and their weaknesses, and you need to be aware of your strengths and your weaknesses. This is a way to give yourself a competitive advantage over your competitors. So stay on their websites. I even do site visits. If it's a local competitor, you may want to, and I suggest to my clients to actually go into this storefront, let's say, and visit your competitor. Go through the process as if you're an actual customer. And there is times I do introduce myself as a competitor because you want to have, you want to know your competitors as well. Sometimes you can work together and learn from each other.
For sure.
And you can definitely learn from each other. But sometimes go through the process with your competitor as if you are an actual customer. Go into their shop, go into their website, place an order, see their process, compare it to your process. Because again, your ultimate goal is to know their strengths as opposed to your strengths and weaknesses, and vice versa. That is a way you can stay 10 steps ahead of your competitor. Everyone is out here in your market trying to get attention. Everyone wants attention. You want to know why that customer chose your competitor and not you. So
Right.
with that, you want to stay on top of knowing why they chose them. That's why surveys are very important as well. Surveys are
Yeah.
important whether you gain the customer or not. If you lost the customer, you want to know why didn't they choose you. It's a good idea to
Exactly.
send a survey to your client during the process, after the process, whether you got that customer or not. That way you can set yourself up better the next time. So
Right.
competitive analysis is very critical. Understanding who your competitor is very important. Everyone is not your competitor. For example, my small business that I have, a textile printing t-shirt business, everyone who prints t-shirt is not my direct competitor. Someone, for
Right.
instance, someone may have a vinyl press, they're just getting started, they're printing one at a time, as opposed to me, I have a vinyl press and larger presses, so my output is a lot bigger. So my competitor is someone who's almost apples to apples with me. So that is who
Mhm.
your competitor is. You're not going to go do too much research on the smaller, newly established business. You can
Right.
still you still want to stay on top of new entrants. Now let's talk about new entrants, because that's what will take you out. Let's think about blockbusters for those of us who still remember. I'm telling my
Right.
age, right? For blockbusters did not stay on top of that new entrant we call Netflix now and the
Right.
streaming. They didn't stay on top of it, and it took them completely out. So not only with the competitor analysis are you paying attention to current businesses that are similar to you, not that vinyl one by one printer for me, but someone along the lines of a small shop locally in my town that prints the same way I do. You want to pay attention to those new entrants that are coming in that are using new technology that might completely wipe you out.
Wipe you out.
That is
Yeah.
why it is very important to stay on top of your industry, read your industry magazines, go to your trade shows, and know what's coming. Because believe
Mm.
it or not, if you're not paying attention to your competitor is paying attention to you.
Right. Right. That is very true. Very true. Yeah, because Blockbuster already had the whole network. They had everything that they needed to make that transition successfully, but they waited too long when everyone already started falling in love with Netflix,
That's right.
and Blockbuster just couldn't. They
And
couldn't. Uh,
unfortunately, we
yeah.
can even use Toys R Us, what they're going through right now.
Right.
Yeah, they did
Amazon.
not keep on track with what Amazon is offering.
Right.
And Toys R Us has
That's
been around since I can remember. These are
right.
strong companies. So our small businesses have got to look at Blockbusters and Toys R Us and think of these big mega companies who got wiped out. Their marketing teams failed them.
Yes, they did.
Their marketing
That's why they need
strategy
someone like you,
failed them.
right, Alicia?
What did you say?
I said that's why they need someone like you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, that
So,
is the reason why we want to develop a strong marketing strategy from our clients from day one.
yeah. So Marika is saying she's in marketing as well, and she does a lot of social media and stuff. But she said, yeah, she loves testimonies and reviews, and it's the way of the internet.
It
So,
is. It really is. It does help. You should always want criticism. You should always strive to do better and be better. I have made so many mistakes, but you learn from those mistakes. You learn from those
yeah.
mistakes and you do your best to fix them. And you look at your competitors and your market to see what they're doing and what strategies they may be using that's working for them.
So now the other thing is, so we talked about our competitors, and one of the other topics was the importance of knowing who your ideal client is. And so we did talk about surveys, so that's one way to know who your client is for sure, right? Because you'll find out who's buying and so forth. So, but there's more to it than just that. So why don't you share a little bit of that with us?
Right. Again, with our clients, we stress that we understand the passion of having an entrepreneurial spirit. You come up with these great ideas, you come up with these great products and services, you believe in it wholeheartedly, and I'm sure it's great stuff, but it takes more than that. It takes that
Yeah.
foundation we talk about to survive, but it also
Yeah.
takes Having a strategy in place and a system in place, your daily task each day should be centered around your marketing. You have got to get the word out. I always share the story of when I first started my textile t-shirt printing business, and how when I started it, I opened this fancy office, big grand opening, the sign, the chamber of commerce, all the things I thought you're supposed to just do. Had the staff
Right.
sitting there and we're twiddling our fingers waiting for people to come through the door.
Mm.
That it takes more than just that great idea, product, and service. There is noise
Yeah.
out here. You have got to be heard. You have got to figure out a way to stand out in the crowd, and that is marketing. Placing your product, idea, and service in front of the right person at the right time for the right price. You've got to have the right content. You've got to be able to engage with your clients. You've got to be able to engage with them. So, that being said, to get back to what you said, how do you know who your ideal client is? This is one of the most critical things. If you do not know who you are servicing, how do you know how to get to them? How do you know how
Yeah.
to speak to them? How to speak to them is content building. What do you say to them to attract them? What do you say to them to let them know to pick me, company A, over company B? Now, in our marketing boot camp, we get a little more in detail about content building, the proper verbiage, how to attract them. But number one thing is to constantly stay engaged with your customer. Constantly stay engaged with your customer. Now, how do you know who your customer is? Number one, you narrow it down, hopefully in your business plan, you've narrowed down who your target audience is, who your target market is. How do you do that? The demographics, what age group? What income
Mm.
level? Where do they live? What do they do? You got to know your ideal customer's needs and desires, and then make it clear to them how you can provide them with those needs and desires for the best value, not necessarily the cheapest price, for the best value, because your ideal client is already looking for you and what you provide. Now you got to get in
Right.
front of them. So you got to know who they are, where they are, and how do I attract them. So for instance, if you're in the business of selling Harley Davidson motorcycles, I would suggest, and I suggest to my clients, depending on their industry, to go find out where they hang out. What pages on social media are they a part of? What groups, what events do they go to? What trade shows are they at? You need to know where your client is and stay in front of them constantly.
Right.
Your past customers, your current customers, and your future customers. You have got to hang out, literally hang out with your ideal client. Narrow it down, take the time. This is the market research that is skipped. Hang out where they are, know where they are, and speak to them. And then you learn how to develop the content that will attract them, because you do not speak to, let's say, your younger demographic the same way you may speak to your older demographic. If your segment is women, then you're not going to discuss topics for men. So your ads
Right.
are going to be centered, your ads are going to be centered around women. Your photos that you use and the content you may be posting have women with children. As you can see in the
Yeah.
automobile industry. In the automobile industry, a lot of times their ads are centered around showing these safe vehicles, because they want that mother to feel safe. They got the van, they show the children in the ad to say this is safe for your children, so you should buy this. Because they know who their ideal client is. Your ideal client has got to be crystal clear.
Mhm.
So take the time, like I said, to know who your competitor is so far, to set yourself up for success, to know who your ideal client is, to set yourself up for success.
Right. Right. I totally agree with that. And so one of the ways that you're able to stay in front of your clients on a regular basis is through email. So you
Correct.
talk about building an email list and like everything that goes with it. So I think, I mean, I really appreciate a lot of everything that you're saying here today. I just want to throw this out there before we get into the next topic, that if anybody has any questions that they want to type out, after we're done, we're going to leave about 5 minutes or so for Q&A. so,
Absolutely.
so so building an email list, so that can be tricky, right? So I've been working to build an email list, but a lot of times you'll get people added, and people will be like, forget it, I don't want to be bothered with your emails anymore. They're obviously not your ideal client, and that's okay. So what do you think is a great way to be able to build out that email list?
Okay. First, I want to say that email marketing is one of the most cost-effective marketing strategies you can find. And it's convenient because you own your email list. You are in
Right.
complete control. You own that email list. With your email list building, of course, there's over 5,000 platforms to market to your client out here. Of course, you have to narrow down after you've done your market research on your competitor, what they're doing, what they're using, narrow down what platforms you're going to use. But email marketing has shown to have strong results for even your top major 500, Fortune 500 companies. So we always suggest email building and using email marketing. Now, the way you can do this, and again, this is something people tend to skip. The way you can do this is I constantly encourage my clients to do networking events constantly every day, every week, as much as you possibly can. So one of the ways to build this email list is by networking. And when you're networking, you should constantly be exchanging your contact information. A lot of times if it's a new business or someone who doesn't, if you're doing a service or something where they don't carry around business cards, I suggest to my clients to carry around a notebook. That way, if they come to me and say, I don't have a business card, oh, well, then can I write down your information? And it's critical for you to remember who you wrote down, write down their name, their number, their industry, if it's a business, but constantly collect email addresses. But don't just stop there. A lot of times we'll collect them, then what's next? What I have my clients set up is Excel spreadsheets, a simple, basic Excel spreadsheet to start with. You'd have a column for their name, their phone number, of course, most importantly, that email address. You also want to have a column for industry, because later we'll talk about a little bit today, because this is just a quick live, but in our boot camp, we get a little more detail about segmenting, how to separate and target your market with segmented emails and messaging. So you want a column that focuses on that industry. What industry is that person in? That way later you know, okay, this is a group of women who are looking to purchase children clothing. So I remember this is what, and have a little column where you take notes. Like I remember, or you wrote down notes, or she says she needs this. Just to give you a little more personable when you do speak with them or you email them sometime. So you build this spreadsheet, you take these contacts, you constantly are updating this contact list daily or weekly. And then again, you don't stop there. Now it's next to creating the content that is targeting your ideal client, because you've already done your research, you know your ideal client. You have the ad going out to this ad campaign going out to this client. So now you're going to segment it, send it out. You're going to stay in front of them. You're going to stay engaged with them. You're going to send them information. It's not all just ads. You're sending them information. Sometimes you might send them a thank you, or we miss you, or happy birthday, whatever it might be. But constantly build content, stay engaged with them, keep building this list. It will grow. So networking is one avenue. Another avenue we do discuss in the boot camp is using landing pages. Landing pages on your websites with calls to action.
It's huge.
Yes, that's huge. With calls to actions. So with these calls to actions, you are asking them to join my page, join my mailing list, stay on top of my next workshop, get a free ebook, join my newsletter. Whatever it is, you have these landing pages and you're collecting email addresses. Wherever you are, you could be in the grocery line. I tell everyone I talk to people about my businesses wherever I am, and I'm exchanging business cards, or I'm writing down their information in my notebook, and I'm building this list. Build your list, but most importantly, use the list. So you're using the list, you're building the list, you're using the list, you're engaging with them, you're sending out emails. Okay, everyone doesn't have time to sit there. There's a great thing called automation. Automate the process. I'm sure now I have emails going out as we speak. I have posts being posted as we speak. I'm not sitting here typing anything because I don't have that kind of time. But we dedicate, whether it's you or your assistant, you dedicate the time to set up an automated process to make life a lot easier so you can get busy running your business or doing webinars or teaching or whatever your service or product or idea is. You eliminate having to do it every day, all day. Schedule it out. You know, I don't back anybody necessarily, but just to name a few: Constant Contact,
Right.
MailChimp. A lot of them have free services. A lot of them have free
Yep.
trials. Try it out. It's worth trying. It'll make your company a lot more efficient. And believe it again, your competitors are doing it.
Yeah. And not only that, but there's a lot of, especially small businesses, that don't even understand or realize the importance of continuous email marketing and stuff like that. Because there's been so many times that I've either purchased something or met someone at like a networking event or at an event, and I gave them my business card as they paid all this money for a booth. I gave them my business card, said I was interested, and then I lost their information. But I've never heard back from them. And I was like,
Wow.
dang, I wish I could remember who that company was. I would have loved to have gotten a jumpsuit or whatever. I even, like, one time I went to a fashion show and I ordered this really cute custom made handbag, and would have loved to have purchased another one, but I've never heard back from the guy. And I actually was a customer that purchased something. And he would have gotten more business from me, but I can't remember his information, and I've never heard back from him. So it's huge.
Wow.
Like,
You couldn't
just
have said
email
that
marketing.
better. You couldn't have
Yeah.
said that better. That's exactly what we're talking about here. And again,
Yep.
leading to that 8 out of 10 small businesses that fell within the first 18 months to 2 years. Business that they lost because they weren't consistent and persistent, and they didn't have a system in place. They didn't have a marketing strategy in place. It takes time, it takes effort, but if you want to win, if you want to get your business up and get it going and have cash flow and growth, you've got to keep going and doing it. Not just go do one
Exactly.
trade show and then forget about it and go back to
Yeah.
it. There's no way you're going to stay in business if you're not continually
No.
being innovative. And that's another thing you've got to do, because your competitor, they're sitting down. Why do you think companies have weekly meetings? Because they're going to sit down at the
Yeah.
drawing board. They're going to measure what's working and not working. They're going to tweak it. They're going to get innovative. Okay, you may not yet be a big company with a big staff, but have a weekly meeting with yourself.
Right.
Take a look at your analytics.
That's a great idea, actually.
A weekly meeting with yourself. The same way, like, I have assignments that I give each of my clients weekly to hold them accountable, and then we meet the next week and we discuss where they are on that assignment. Usually most of their assignments, they have due dates, so they should be completed on most of them. We're discussing, and then what's next?
Right.
What's next? You need to do the same thing in your business and your process weekly. And if you're not the type that can hold yourself accountable, that's why it's good to have a coach, have accountability
Yeah.
coach that helps you, kind of motivate you, push you, give you some direction, give you some, sometimes it's better somebody looking from the outside in to give you a
It's definitely
different
better because they're not
perspective.
emotionally attached to what you have going on, just like we are. So we have like about 4 minutes left. So how can someone get more information on you? Why don't you share us, like, your website, your Facebook page, social media, whichever. And if
Absolutely.
anybody has any Q&A questions or whatever, type them up now, and then we'll get those answered. But tell us how they can get more information on you, and if they wanted to hire you as a business coach or take one of your courses or something like that.
Absolutely. Again, we offer these resources. We do offer some free workshops as well as other workshops with small minimal fees sometimes. But we do want to encourage people to visit our website, number one, to join our mailing list where you can get the workshops sent to you first. And you'll be able to register first before anyone else does. So our website is www.whybusinesscoaching.com. Again, is www.whybusinesscoaching.com. And we have an events page up there where you can join our mailing list, and we'll be glad to add you and keep you abreast of all of our future workshops and webinars. Definitely for the ones interested, a lot of people today are interested in our marketing boot camp. Our next one is coming up in June, so definitely look out for that. If you would also check us out on Facebook, like our page on Facebook, it's just Atlanta space business space coach. Atlanta Business Coach, as well as on Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram, Atlanta Business Coach 9017. And then on Twitter, of course, ATL Biz, B-I-Z, Coach. So we would definitely love to hear from you all. And if we don't get to all the questions today, don't pressure them. They can write us on our social media, and we'll be happy to answer questions.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, awesome. One of the things Marika had stated, because she primarily markets out to real estate agents, and she says, assume agents and tell them to be another realtor's customer. Determine strengths and weaknesses is tricky. Oh, another realtor's customers. Yeah, that would make sense.
Marika is
So,
smart. Marika is on it.
yeah. Yeah, she is. So, all right, cool. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it,
Thank
and
you.
we thank you so much for being a part of amazing part of the group. So,
Thank
thank you,
you.
everyone, and I hope you guys have an amazing week. Bye. Bye.